And welcome to another Bible study that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. My name is Esaac ben Israel, and I am the head priest of the United Congregation of Israel. And today we are joined with the head mother, Lael, and our brother Kish is out about. He's on the plantation. We have to do what we have to do. I just got in here. I was telling the brother at the door, I still got cotton under my nails. We're fresh off the plantation. But praise Yahweh that once you do something for a while, it just becomes second nature. Like, you don't think about how tired you are, all those other things. It is just what you know and feel that you're supposed to be doing. And a lot of times people ask, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I wasn't always doing this or that. You have to do something long enough for it to become a habit. And that's what we don't do. This is how we get in and out of things. And because that thing doesn't go on long enough for it to be habitual in your mind, that you feel like, okay, this is about that time. And we do it with all kind of foulness, because we cannot even look at a clock or a calendar. But if we get used to watching that foosball, we can feel, it feel like Sunday. After some football should be on right about now. You smell football. You can just you get so accustomed to it that you can tell by the number of days that has passed that, all right, it's either Monday, Thursday, or Sunday. You go too many days, and your spirit telling you, flip through these channels. This football game on somewhere. But that means you have watched that. You have engaged in that so much that the frequency of it is inside of you. You have to learn how to do that with things that pertain to Yahweh and his kingdom. Otherwise, the adversary, the devil, is going to talk you out of all of those things every time. It's going to be a reason for you to do this. It's going to be a reason for you not to do that. It's going to always be something. But when we think about the things that we did that were secular, we never let anything come in between that. I remember when the days when the Martin show was on. Thursday, there was no conversation with me. There was no nothing, because when Martin came on, everything stopped. If I was in the midst of giving you CPR, hold that, Martin's on. Done deal. I had got accustomed to that, and we have to have that kind of dedication with these things in the Word. Now, I want to get into some of these questions that we have, and some of them, it's a couple of things that we need to go into to deal with these things. I want to go down. I want to go to this other one too. There was a question, and then while we're in the midst of answering that on Ask the Priest, the individual sent another thing, and they were like, to clarify what they were really asking. They were asking a question about, can bad behavior over time create mental illness? But this part, I didn't see that until later. But I want to go into some things. Let's start at Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. See, a lot of times we read these things, and because it is so many things there, we forget. This is the basis for how most of us became Hebrews. Because we start studying this and we realize this doesn't fit anybody else on the planet but us. All right? Now, other people will try to gainsay it. They want to tell you all of these things because they know this doesn't fit them. They know this, that you can't tell me that you own a bank and you being persecuted. You can't tell me that you went to Germany and took over their economy so much that they start attacking you. And understand, we never get to the point where we take over anybody's economy. You talk about what happened in Black Wall Street. What happened? We start doing our thing.
Exactly.
What happened? Bombs fell out the sky. Barrel bombs that set houses and people on fire indiscriminately. Once it hits, it just spreads in every direction. Not only did they burn it down to the ground, then they passed a law saying that you cannot rebuild on burnt property, which means all of these people had insurance policies. They didn't pay out on one insurance policy. That was to make sure that we never rose again. So if you're going to tell me that you are persecuted and you are the people of this book, it doesn't make sense to me how you own banks and teams and all of these things, all of the media companies, you own everything. When we attempt to do that, we either have to make a deal with the devil or we get set on fire by the devil. You have to consider how far you're going to get up that ladder before you have now compromised yourself. And when you listen to the story that Dave Chappelle tells about his father, and he never forgot that story. And his father told him, he said, all right, so this is what you want to do. You want to be a comedian? He said, yes. He said, all right, what do you consider being successful? He said, if I can live like you and mom, if I can live like y'all and tell jokes, I'll be successful. He said, all right, well, never forget the cost. Whenever the price get to be too much, get out of it. That's why he was able to walk away from $50 million because there was some things that he was going to have to do that he was not happy with.
Exactly.
And other people want to know, how can you walk away from that? He had already considered the cost. And he was not going to pass that line. And that's something that we have to consider. You don't want to get into anything, no matter how much people tell you this is this person is rich, they're successful. You know what really, really get to you? Now, we do this all the time. A lot of people don't do it. Flip through the channels and watch Unsung. And see what some of them people who you have said, oh my God, they rich and they famous, and you see them and they getting out of Rolls Royces, so you figure they living good. You look at Unsung and see some of the stuff that those people have gone through, and you will be happy to go back to UPS and clock in.
And you know, what's important about that, the scripture will even tell you that. You know, what is it to gain the whole world and lose your own soul? Because of the riches and the fame and the wealth out there. And when you go through stories like Unsung, you realize that those people may have attained wealth and fame, but they paid a heavy price.
Man, some of them paid a price so dear that you understand, man, this was not worth it. You know, Priest Kish always talk about, you know, whatever happened to the one-hit wonders. And he always say, those were the people that got in and realized, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. And they turned around, they took their one little hit. You know what, let me take that one little hit. And you know what, I'm going back to UPS.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying, I got enough. You know what I'm saying, I'm gonna live comfortably and I'm going back to ups. You know what I'm saying, because I'm not gonna do that. Whatever that is, you open the wrong door. Oh no, I'm not doing, what are they doing in there? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You go ahead and call ups. You know what, is that truck still available? Because I'm definitely not doing this.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that person does not have the skill to do that. It is the foulness that you know is in some of these things, and this has been, you know, these things are being used to control us because our people are very gifted people. We have all of these things. I remember in elementary school they were teaching us how to read music. Music is not in schools anymore.
Exactly. And coming right out of slavery, if you remember back during those times when we were fighting for civil rights, it was the music and the skill of musicians and singers and dancers that elevated us to the point where we attained. And it is the very thing that the Ish have taken control
over. You know, even to the fact that Jerry Heller, a white Jew, was given the credit of creating gangster rap. He was the one who produced NWA. A Jewish white man is credited in Rolling Stone with creating gangster rap. Before that, almost every rapper had some time in college. Even if they didn't graduate, a lot of them met in college. When you have the turn of gangster rap, it turned around, and now all of the artists are artists who have not graduated from high school. They are all pushing a certain agenda, and that agenda is not being, pushed or financed by us. People see us in the video flashing the money. They don't see the Leor Cohens. They don't see those people behind the scenes who paying them. So if you see, just like you see an athlete with all the diamonds on his neck, look at the white guy sitting in the suit. If he has enough money to pay 52 of them, what kind of money do you think he's making? The one guy has on diamonds. There's 51 other players on that team. He's paying all of them. So we look past the people who are creating these things, and that's why even a question like this is deeper than you can imagine. Exactly. Can the bad behavior over time create mental illness? Let's start Deuteronomy 28, and let's start at verse 15.
But it shall come to pass, if you will not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you.
Now, when we deal with all of these curses, it is so many of these things that you don't know which ones to focus in on when you just read these as a whole. So because the question was about mental illness, because it's real easy to get stuck in some of the other things, because some of these other things are very, very strong. But let's just stay at the illness part. So let's just stay right there. All right. Jump to verse 21.
Verse 21. Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto you until he have consumed you from off the land.
Right. Now, when you think about what a pestilence is, you're talking about pandemic type situations that seem to happen to you. Now, consider all the issues that we end up going through here. We end up suffering more than anybody else.
We do.
So, and we don't want to connect this back to what we are not doing scripturally. We will connect our health situation to what we may have been eating. It says that it is written that this is health and marrow to your bones. Yeah. What? The word is.
Exactly.
The word is health and marrow to your bones. How? As you start dealing with it, you have power that you didn't ordinarily have. So consider this. It says, even though Yahweh was disciplining the children of Egypt, children of Israel coming out of Egypt, 40 years, right? They didn't have no rich diet. He was actually punishing them or trying to humble them, taking away their ordinary food. How is it, not only did they not get sick, he said their sandals didn't even break. Which one of y'all got a 40-year pair of shoes?
That didn't break.
Which one of y'all got you got a 40-year pair of shoes, it look like your foot's still in them. It look like they can walk by themselves. 40 years. See, that's the comeliness of Yahweh, not only on you, but on everything around you. And it had nothing to do with what they were eating. Nothing. So, you'll get into, you have these extremes. You have the people who believe that they can eat anything. They can just chew on carpet and still be okay. Then you have the other, health people who, they're so deep into all of these things, and never consider the comeliness of Yahweh. Under no other circumstances should anybody be able to eat bread and be healthy. Only. What was manna?
It was
Bread from heaven.
It was bread. It was bread-like substance.
How you eat bread? Keep eating it and don't eat nothing else. All I need you to do is tell me where your room number at the hospital. Because that's where you're going. That's where you're going.
And you know what? This word pestilence is really interesting because when you look at it, it kind of goes into like cattle-like disease. And, you know, we don't deal with cattle nowadays. You know, the Israelites came out of Israel with their cattle and their herds and all this kind of, they weren't dealing with stuff along that line. But nowadays, you know, you look at the illness, at the pestilence that's actually out there, you know, the swine flu, the bird flu, COVID that they say came from, it is pestilence. It is truly pestilence.
You're talking about things, you know, that's causing large-scale damage, but Yahweh says, it's going to cleave to you. Now, is it cleaving to you because you didn't eat enough collards? You think, you know what, if I have the right amount of ashwagandha, maybe, just maybe, the pestilence won't cleave to me. No. You're going to need the right amount of scriptura to keep the pestilence away from you. See, you trying to get all the ashwagandha, you need to get some spiritual. You know, that is that is our ultimate health plan. All of the other stuff is an additive. We do the other things as it is not our main health plan. My main health plan is Yahweh. Understand that. So when we don't put that and take that into perspective, we think something else is doing that.
But you know, even with that, you have to look at Yahweh created herbs and all of these things that he gave us to eat and to heal ourselves. That healing still comes from him. So if he says it's not going to work, it ain't going to work.
Right. I don't think we really, you know, consider those things. Keep going from 27.
27. Yahweh will smite you with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof you can't not be healed. Yahweh shall smite you with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart.
Okay, the original question says, can bad behavior over time create mental illness? What do you think madness is? What do you think? What even is the generic term for a lot of people when they say the person is going crazy? Oh my God, man, he went mad. What do you think that is? This is now mental. Not dealing with Yahweh's order not only alters how your body responds, it alters how your mind responds. You're not even responding to things the way you're supposed to respond to them. Okay? Jump to verse 35.
Yahweh shall smite you in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed.
Wait a minute. It cannot be healed. But we're going to go to every doctor. We're going to go to every person. And if we got some money, you know, we're gonna fly overseas and get some stuff done. Some of us gonna go and get a witch doctor. We ain't gonna tell nobody we went to the witch doctor though, but we're gonna go to the witch doctor. We're gonna go to every kind of doctor. He says, no. The reason you cannot be healed is not medicinal. See, when Yahweh shows you, even when they said, okay, we can't drink this water because this water is bitter. He says, all right, go. He didn't turn around and even do something supernatural. He told him, go take that tree, stick it in the water. The bitter water gonna turn sweet. A lot of times we may be looking for all of these things and the remedy is right in your face. Like when they did these experiments, which is why there's a large distrust for the American healthcare system, period, among people of color. when they did this Tuskegee experiment, which I hate the name Tuskegee experiment because it gives you the thought process that it happened in this little bitty country town. But in actuality, that was sponsored by the CDC and the U.S. Health Department. The same people that told you to come and get this shot were the same ones who sponsored the Tuskegee experiment. They paid for it, all right? And then the other individual was somebody who we spent all this money in their stores, Sears and Roebuck. You couldn't find a black person that didn't have a Sears card back in the days. Who you think was funding this thing? So they were allowing these people to have diseases and purposely not curing them, not allowing them to have access to penicillin, when they could have had garlic and vinegar and made penicillin in their kitchen.
Exactly.
So they are passing the remedy. They walk right out the kitchen. The remedy for what was tearing them up inside was right to the left. The garlic was on this side. The vinegar was a little further down. All they had to do was put them together and let them sit and make organic penicillin. But they're dying and passing this on from generation to generation.
Yes.
So for that reason, there's already a big distrust for American medicine. So anytime they tell me they got a brand new medicine and I ought to try it first, I'm on guard, Jack. Go ahead, you finish that?
Yes, it said from the sole of your foot unto the top of your head.
All right, jump to verse 59.
Verse 59. Then Yahweh will make your plagues wonderful.
Plagues. Now, when we talk about plagues, Yahweh used plagues to free the children of Israel from Egypt. So when you start talking about plagues, these are things that are going to affect us as a whole, as a large group of people. And there's certain words that just don't even sound right by each other. I'm going to make your plagues wonderful. I don't know if I know a wonderful plague. I don't know. I don't think I've ever met a wonderful plague. I don't know if I want to meet a wonderful plague. Go ahead. Verse 59.
Verse 59. And the plagues of your seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance.
Listen to that.
And sore sickness. And of long continuance.
Long continuance. So understand why is he emphasizing this? That these things are going to, first of all, he already said they're going to cleave to you. Then he's making the point that it's going to be of a long continuance. Now you're talking about a disease. See, a sickness is a situation that comes upon you. Disease, that term is used when it just don't seem to go away. But this has nothing to do with your herbal content. This has nothing to do with I'm gonna be a vegetarian and I'm going to live forever. I don't care how many vegetables you eat. You ain't gonna get free of this if you're a hellion. Go ahead. Keep going.
Verse 60. Moreover, he will bring upon you all the diseases of Egypt, which you was afraid of. And they shall cleave unto you.
They shall cleave unto you. So when he says, and of long continuance, he's letting you know, you can try all the medicine you want. It's not going to work. Why? Because you hadn't done right by him. Go ahead.
Verse 61. Also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahweh bring upon you until you be destroyed.
So not only did Yahweh say, I'm going to bring all of these things upon you, you know what? I'm going to make up some new stuff. I'm just going to go up, I'm going to mix some stuff together that don't make no sense. I'm going to put gonorrhea and syphilis together. I'm going to give you syphilis. What is syphilis? You could be the first person with syphilis. What is that? Hey, no. I'm going to give you stuff that ain't even in here. And you say, how did I get so unlucky? It wasn't luck. Those are the things that and the powers that be don't want us to get into this. Because herein lies the key to your deliverance.
Yes.
Why would anybody who rules over you want you to understand where your deliverance is?
So they will always discredit that.
Come on. They're going to always discredit it because their power is in ruling over you. You got to think about, if a person owns a plantation, he don't want to run off his slaves. He can't work the land. He's too sorry. But what he'll do, he'll turn around and say, oh, you lazy this and that. How I'm lazy? I've been working out here all day. Where you been? Last thing he want to do is get rid of the workers. He needs them to make money.
And your mention of that is actually, if you will listen to the things that people say nowadays, black people are lazy, they don't do this, they don't do that. If you go back into our history, you will find out that every time we tried to advance in the city, we got ahead, they burned it down,
Sure did.
they rioted, they did all of these things to circumvent what we were doing.
Exactly.
Don't ever let anybody tell you that our people are lazy.
You better believe it. You know, and they'll say it in a minute and then have taught their children those lies. So their children will spurt out, kick them lies right out of their mouth because they don't even know their lies. Yeah, those black people lazy. But this is town after town. You go right up Forsyth County, you'll see all of these nice houses. That was a black town. They would make up a lie, just like the Emmett Till situation and many, many others, and it happened from state to state to state, from city to city to city. Make up a reason, go down. Now, one person does something, so they say. One person, they go in, kill a bunch of people, set all the land on fire, take all the houses. All that land that's in Forsyth County, that was a black town. Gentiles decided they were going to take it one day. Used a so-called one incident, just like other places, and then a mob of people came killing, burning, till all of those people left. And then they remade the deeds in their names. If you follow the deed to the land, you're going to find where each deed transfers from name to name.
Right.
You go back to where they burnt it and took it from the black people. There's a magical
it just jumps.
move. Like nobody sells it.
It just
all right?
jumps.
At this point, it just go from being Booker T. Johnson to Billy Jones. Wait a minute, where's the sale paper?
No sale.
How did all of this land transfer, yet there's no sale? There's no bill of sale, yet you own it now. How do you own it? How did you get it from this person? There's no record of that. How is that even legal? But you see how the laws bend for the powers that be. All of that is completely illegal. So when you see, and they love to show you this on television, just how foul this is. They'll show you some black guys. These guys are squatting.
Yeah.
These guys are them sovereign citizens. They come in and they take people's houses. Oh, I'm sorry, they did what you did. I'm sorry.
They've been squatting for generations.
I'm sorry. They did what you did. Now they're evil, they're corrupt, they're all this. They have moved into a house and just taken over the house. Then people own the house and can't get out. They can't get these people out. And they just crying foul. But isn't that what you did in this entire country? Now all of a sudden these people are foul because they found a way to do what you were doing. And now it bothers you. And I always wondered, I said, man, it is amazing those guys keep doing that in the more affluent areas. Why are they doing that in Alpharetta? No, they understand something. All this stuff you took from people who look like me. And then even when they show the guys, some of the times the people end up getting their house back after about 2 or 3 years. the guys end up smiling, walking off, and go and do the same thing to another, and don't spend one day in jail. They are afraid of them guys. Because they know something, and they're like, no, this is what you did to us. You've done this to us so much, now you don't like it when it happens to you. But that's the foulness of this land. Let's keep going. Hey, brother, turn that off.
Verse 62. And you shall be left few in number, whereas you were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because you would not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim.
Right. This problem is not a problem that you're going to fix by your diet. I just recently, start going through Instagram because, brothers be, sending me all kind of stuff. And, oh, man, you got all the health gurus out there. They do all of these things. But we end up stopping at this. Because you would not obey the voice of Yahweh. You want to grow you a garden? Grow you a garden. We already had a garden. A garden of Eden. We didn't do what we were supposed to do in it. What death happened in that garden then?
Yes.
What happened? You think it was the food that caused us the problem? It was the disobedience. That's what caused us the problem. Go ahead.
Verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And you shall be plucked from off the land whither you goest to possess it.
Keep going.
And Yahweh shall scatter you among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Now, this then in turn ends up being why or how he says you'll be few in number. See, we're never few in number because of us not being able to reproduce. We're few in number because he made sure he scattered us to enough places that we will not be able to take over the place where we are. That was a control mechanism. Go ahead.
Verse 64. And Yahweh shall scatter you among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there shall you serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Right, and we understand that is the cross, and the stone is Islam, and those are the religions that we are most off into. The wood is the cross, the stone is the rock or the asteroid that fell from heaven. Is the holiest site in Islam. That's your wood and stone.
They got so many stones. That Dome of the Rock stone, and they got that cobblestone that they're going to rub and
so and it's got us, and we think we're doing some deep stuff when we get off into these things. This is told to us from the beginning. Go ahead.
65. And among these nations shall you find no ease, neither shall the sole of your foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give you there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
That's all mental. Remember what the topic was, this question. Can bad behavior over time create mental illness? What have we read? Trembling heart. So you got anxiety.
Yes.
Failing of eyes, sorrow of mind. Sorrow of mind, depression. So in that line, I just saw anxiety and depression. But because we give it a new name, I got this new illness. Y'all ain't never even heard of this. Yeah, they got this new thing. Wait a minute, now, let's back up. What did he say? I'm gonna give you things that ain't even written in here. So once they give it a name, we think it's something new. No, it's the very things that were written in the beginning. He already told us what was gonna happen. He said it's gonna be things that's not even written in here. Here it is. And we keep thinking that we can fix this by marching and we're gonna have all these forums and we're gonna teach the youth. No, if you don't teach them how to walk in the righteousness of Yahweh's word, all your health plan is gone to naught.
And this is also the destruction of, those so-called, we got a lot of people in Christianity that are learning who we are, but what they want to do is stay right there where they are, basically do what they've just always done, while claiming to be us. That's not going to help you. You have to walk away from that doctrine and turn that repentance. And to the book says, "Come out of her, my people," not sit there and try to pull everything into you. And so to hold on to, including that name, Jesus, and they really don't really know the differentiation between the Father and the Son. They don't really have that story right.
No. And they don't want it right. Let's be honest. Sometimes we want to be wrong. Once we get accustomed to something, we don't want to be corrected. We don't want to be corrected. And that is one of those things. We want to stay right there in that place.
Exactly.
Even if we find out certain things about the word, we want to be Hebrew Christians. We don't want to just be Hebrews. We don't want to learn who we really are.
Exactly.
We want to merge that with the things that we're already comfortable with.
Exactly.
And that's going to be a problem.
It is.
Yahshua definitely does not like it. He spoke against it strongly. And so does Yahweh when he sends his prophets to talk about these merged things that we have got off into. I want to go, let's go into this other one here that's got a few things. It says, what considers you as being married? Is it the encounter of intercourse, or is it the whole shebang? Going before a priest, saying your vows, covenant between each other, etc. And also, that's another part. Do you know a website or a clothing store? All right. Let me see. Hey, man, I'm just reading the question. All right. So let's first go to Genesis chapter 24. So there is, within this story, there's a lot of things that we're going to be able to glean out of it. So rather than just go in bit, because there's a piece of every part of the question in this place. Now, we can go into a couple of things, but in this is a lot. So I let me see. Started at verse 1.
Genesis chapter 24, verse 1. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and Yahweh had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all he had, Put, I pray thee, your hand under my thigh, and I will make you swear by Yahweh, the Elohim of heaven and the Elohim of the earth, that you shall not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell.
Now, when you consider how we operate, this is exactly what we do. We take mates from around the vicinity of where we are. And it's one of the things that we don't consider. All right, you move wherever you're going to move because this has this or that has that. But do understand, when it comes time for dating, your kids are going to be picking from the pool of what's surrounding them. So don't get mad at them when they bring something home that you didn't care for, but you moved there. You said, man, they got some nice houses up here. All right. Well, they got some other stuff. Don't be mad.
And the New Testament says that you are to be in the world, not of the world. You can't do the things that the world does.
So this whole point is, look, I'm around these people, but look here, don't let my son marry none of these women over here. Go ahead.
But you shall go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac, or Esaac. And the servant said unto him, peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land, must I needs bring your son again unto the land from whence you camest? And Abraham said unto him, Beware you that you bring not my son thither again. Yahweh Elohim of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land, he shall send his angel before thee, and you shall take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow you, then you shall be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor.
So he's not just going and he's going to go over there and says, you know, I was sent by my master to come and find a woman that he can love, and we didn't come with nothing but love. He's got some stuff with these camels. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Yahweh Elohim of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water.
Okay, stop. Y'all know how heavy water is? My family tell me in a minute, baby, go out there and get that water. Wait a minute, why am I going to get the water? These women go out to draw the water. Why am I going to get the water jug? Baby, you need to go get the water jug. Why am I going? It look like to me my daughter's supposed to be going to get the water. Everybody send me and the boy out there to go get the water. It says the women. Now understand something now. Let's say this woman said, I ain't going out there to get no water. There's something that she's not going to be presented with. Because she's not even in the equation, because she didn't go out there to do these things. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee that I may drink. And she shall say, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that you has appointed for your servant Esaac. And thereby shall I know that you have shown kindness unto my master.
Now, there's not this is happening with the servant, okay? This is not coming from Abraham. This is not coming from Esau. This is not even coming from the woman. This is not a prophecy that has happened before. This is happening right at this point. Point out the woman that you have chosen for him. This is a right now situation. This ain't nothing that he has known all of this time before. You have to look at what's happening. And this is none of them. This is this individual who's supposed to be doing this. This also makes you think. Sometimes the words that you speak are given unto you. Now, he asked this, let the woman say this. Do you think she said these words of her own mind? Or some spirit put those words in her mouth to say them? Go ahead.
Verse 15. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. She had a pitcher. And the servant ran to meet her.
She know what she was coming there for. Okay, she got a pitcher to go and draw water. So that's like them people who got lamps with no oil. What you carrying the lamp for? Go ahead.
And the servant ran to meet her and said, "Let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of your pitcher." And she said, "Drink, my master." And she hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, "I will draw water for your camel also until they have done drinking."
Now, that's a certain kind of woman. See, he didn't just ask. This is a woman who is not just, okay, she's a good-looking woman, and it definitely says she was a good-looking woman, but no, this woman has something about service in her, that she is providing something for a man whom she's not in any obligation to do.
Right.
She's not obligated to him by covenant. She's not obligated to him because he's giving her money. She is just that kind of woman. See, when you go to certain places, especially in the South, you have to fight them people not to eat.
You do.
They come on, sit down, and get something to eat. No, I eat already. No. Look, I got this, I got that. No, man, no. We good. No, you're not. You came in here, you gonna eat. No, man, I told you now. I'm not hungry now. Some of you got the swing on them. I said I wasn't hungry.
You'll never be hungry.
I told you now, don't go do, hey, put the plate up. That's some Southern, sometimes Southern hospitality make you want to hit somebody in their mouth. I done told you 5 times that I wasn't hungry. I told you, I used to have to go to my grandmama's house. I would tell the kids to keep their cup and just keep sipping on the straw so I could keep letting her know we already ate. Just do that. And make the noise. Make sure normally you be like, you know what, kid, this is annoying. Stop making that sound with that straw, okay? I tell them, take turns making that sound with that straw, okay? Because she be cooking with that old grease. I used to eat that pork, but so we don't know what's in that grease right there. So we got to eat before we go. But this is a thing. This is just how they were raised, that it's nothing for them to feed everybody around. My grandmother was, my mom's mom was one of 19. She cooked for the entire family. After that, it was already in her. My grandmama cooked for the whole neighborhood. People would show up at my grandmama's house on Sunday because they know food was there. It used to make me so angry as a kid. What they doing over here? Hey, y'all getting biscuits and gravy? Who's this dude? Every time, it's a new family friend who I ain't seen. I was like, who this cat is here? That was part of how she was raised. They always knew. They could be gone for 2 years. Show up, they know a whole bunch of food was over there on Sunday. Because that's just how she was. So he's asking for that type of woman. Mm-hmm. So he's just not saying something, oh, let your pitcher, I will feed. No. This is saying what kind of woman she is. This is the wife of a servant. She's qualified to be a wife of a servant. Why? Because she got servant in her. Go ahead.
Verse 20, and she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again unto the well to draw water and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit whether Yahweh had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of 1/2 shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold.
All right. Now, let's. It's important sometimes that you in the middle of things that you go back to the question. What considers you as married? Is it the encounter or is it the whole shebang? Now, what's happening now is there's a bride price that's about to happen at this point. So he's just not pulling out gold earrings just to pull out gold earrings. Now, here comes the negotiation. The negotiation is about to begin. Now, Some people negotiate too low. See, all you look like, you Happy Meal, you got some cheese? Well, let's do this then. That's your problem. I ain't got nothing to do with that. All right? You didn't handle your negotiation right. All right? It's important that you pay attention in the negotiation phase. All right? Now, you ain't no renegotiation. Once you have agreed for a Happy Meal, you can't go back and ask, you know what, can you put cheese on that? Did we negotiate for cheese on the Happy Meal? No, you negotiated for the Happy Meal, okay? You can't renegotiate. Now, it's important that you pay attention in this phase. This is an important phase here. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And said, whose daughter are you? Tell me, I pray thee. Is there room in your father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. And she said moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in.
Now, how's she just gonna offer her daddy stuff? Certain kind of woman. Certain kind of woman. Go ahead.
And the man bowed down his head and worshipped Yahweh. And he said, blessed be Yahweh Elohim of my master Abraham, who have not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, Yahweh led me to the house of my master's brethren.
The very place where he said go, he ends up going there and running into the very daughter of the people.
That he was,
but not at the house. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, thus spoke the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, come in, thou blessed of Yahweh. Wherefore standeth you without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him. And there was set meat before him to eat, but he said, I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant.
I will not eat until I have taken care of this business. So he is also conducting himself a certain way while he's handling this job. Go ahead.
And Yahweh hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great. And he hath given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and men servants and maidservants and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old, and unto him hath he given all that he has. And my master made me swear, saying, you shall not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell.
Now, understand something. Esau could have been a little rotten person at this point. Wait a minute, man. I'm all this stuff given unto me. I'm the man that's making it happen, man. I got all this. I don't care what my daddy told you about what kind of woman I'm getting, you know. I seen some nice Canaanite harlots down the street. You know what I'm saying? And I got this bread. I got this money, Jack. You know what I'm saying? I'm paid. So look at, man, I understand, you know, the conversation you might have had with my daddy, but look at him. This is how we gonna do this. So understand this, it's a lot of obedience happening right up in here. And we have this thing that when we make a decision, our decision must be like, we know better. You look at these situations where the parents are setting up marriages for them, and you look at their marriages last forever. We picking our partners, and the average marriage lasts 7 years. That's the average. By 7, it is over and kaput, and that's lucky. But we doing all the choosing, So what are we not doing? See, these people are looking at something different. They were looking at the spirit of the women. He said, no. The way these women raised over here, don't get near one of these. I don't care what they look like. Go ahead.
Verse 38. But you shall go unto my father's house and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And I said unto my master, peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, Yahweh before whom I walk will send his angel with you and prosper your way. And you shall take a wife for my son of my kindred and of my father's house.
All right. He says, Yahweh will send his angel. So then who made Rebecca say
Things
those
that she
things?
said.
Exactly.
Things
Who
that
made
he'd
her say
already-
that?
Things that he'd already
That he said, that he prayed, and then they came out of Rebecca's mouth. Rebecca not saying that. That angel is saying that. Now, here's the thing. Rebecca don't know the angel making her say that. She didn't hear what the man said. That was a message for the man. So sometimes some things come out of your mouth, they are a confirmation to the person that Yahweh sent to you, not for you.
Exactly.
You might not even know it. They might tell you 3 years later. Look, when we was at that well, when we met, what made you say such and such? I don't know. There it is. There you have it. Thank you for coming out. God bless. Good night. There you have it. They don't know. He didn't tell them that. You on a need-to-know basis. They just felt like this is the thing to say.
That's also a way you know when you have gotten down on your knees and there's nobody there but you and the Most High, and you pray about a matter, and then you look up and that thing is running around the room in clear and concise ways that you know.
Right. And could nobody even mimic this because I ain't told nobody. Go ahead.
Verse 41. Then shall you be clear from this my oath when you comest to my kindred, and if they give not thee one, you shall be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the well and said, O Yahweh Elohim of my master Abraham, if now you do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water. And it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and say to her, Give me, I pray thee, a little of water of your pitcher to drink. And she say to me, Both drink you, and I will also draw for your camel. Let the same be the woman whom Yahweh hath appointed out for my master's son.
Now, you notice this is the prayer that he asked. He didn't say, please let her be brown and absolutely down. Let her be thin but thick. Let her be... That ain't what he said.
That's what we
He's looking for a mentality of a good woman in her heart and mind. He didn't say that. Not one thing came in about how she looked. He just had, okay, she happened to be pretty. But it's not what he went looking for. Go ahead.
Verse 45. And before I had done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down unto the well and drew water. And I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste and let down her pitcher from her shoulder and said, Drink, and I will give your camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, Whose daughter are you? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. And I put the earring upon her face and the bracelets upon her hands. And I bowed down my head and worshipped Yahweh and blessed Yahweh Elohim of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. And now if you will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me. And if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceedeth from Yahweh. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as Yahweh has spoken. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped Yahweh, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things.
All right, now hold on. So he taking care. So he didn't just have one Happy Meal. He had several Happy Meals here. Okay, there's Happy Meals for, cause understand, them anybody know it's the brothers or that sister who will do you in. You better calm them down. So here you have a dowry being taken care of. So now that's transaction. So the question is, what constitutes a marriage?
Exactly.
So now you're having this is a business arrangement here, if you will, which is what your marriage license is, but people don't want to go into that and really tell you what that is. But you having this negotiation happening right here.
Exactly.
All right? Keep going.
Verse 54. And they did eat and drink, and he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing Yahweh has prospered my way. Send me away, that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth.
We will call her to ask at her mouth. Go ahead.
And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Will you go with this man? And she said, I will go.
All right. Now you have an agreement. Okay? So you have a transaction. You have an agreement. She has agreed to go with this man. Here's the interesting part. It says Rebekah was fair to look to. This is a good-looking woman. She don't know if he looks like a bag of frogs. She don't know what she don't know if she gonna get down and be like, who is that? That's my master's son, Rebekah. Oh my gosh. Give me a couple more of them bracelets. I'm gonna need these. Good God. And you done sent me here to get it. I don't care how much I kiss that frog. He ain't gonna turn into no prince. Good God. Go ahead.
Verse 58. Verse 59.
59, yep.
And they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, You are our sister. Be you the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them.
All right, now understand something. There is a transaction that has taken place. There's an agreement, all right, that has been entered into verbally. This servant is speaking on the behalf of Esaac to the parents. Then the daughter has agreed, although these two have never met each other. We spend our most time courting one another to get into these relationships. These two people ain't met each other. Okay? They were just raised a certain way.
Exactly.
And what happens when people are courting? They all lying. That's why the courting don't make no sense. Exactly. They be like, well, how much time you gonna make them wait? And be like, they lying anyway. Is it oui, is it popo, is it you know, you like Joshua? No, see? But of course. It's all make believe.
And that's part of their safety. He knows how she was raised. It came from the same house.
Right, and they know how he's, raised.
Exactly. And that's the thing that we won't do. We're in a culture and we're walking a certain way. Yet we look to the outside for people to marry. Do you think those people are going to think, act, and walk as you will? And this is their safety. He knows how women of that house are going to carry themselves.
And then we look surprised when it fails. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Oh, you this is where you gonna at? this is the way I was acting when you met me.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I was an inner hellion. You knew that. See, and then we get surprised. And now the hurt is worse because we've put years of investment into trying to do this situation, and this was not their thing. And so we don't wait to see how somebody's going to walk for a while, you know. That's why when you talk about raise up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get grown, they will not depart. This is why he's looking for somebody who was raised a certain way. Go ahead.
Verse 61. And Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode up on the camels and followed the man, and the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Esau came from the way of the well Lahairoi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Esau went out to meditate in the field at the eventide. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Esau, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Esau all things that he had done.
All right. The servant has told Esau all the things. Read the next verse.
And Esau brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Esau was comforted after his mother's death.
Right. So at this point, he took Rebekah and she became his wife. This is the union of what's happening. Understand, he took her into the tent, she became his wife. This is the end part of that. Now, if many of us have skipped the negotiation period and you went right to the taking, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. She became his wife. We know what happened in the tent, okay? But there was negotiation
Exactly.
that happened before that. There was some transfer that happened. And understand something. It's not like these two knew each other. So you can spend 3 months courting a clown and think, Rebekah didn't even know she met a man. They last forever. So surely if I give, Jimmy 3 months, we gonna be good. Jimmy's a slime ball, and he has been lying for 3 months. It is what it is. So then there's something about that agreement part. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 20. Let's see. Deuteronomy chapter 20, and start reading at verse 7.
Verse 7. And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife and has not taken her? Let him go and...
Taken. Do you understand now? Now, what we just read, it says Esau brought Rebekah into his mother's tent and took her. Okay, now, listen to the two words here. And what man is there that has betrothed their wife? All right, so then we got to find out what betrothed is. Then have not taken her. Wait a minute. The taking happens at the end of this agreement. Betrothed. What is that? If we then read the things here, there's a note. It was customary among the Jews to contract matrimony, espouse or betroth, and for a considerable time to leave the parties in the houses of the respective parents. And when the bridegroom had made proper preparations, meaning he got his money, right? Then the bride was brought home to his house and the marriage consummated. That's the taken part. Now see, we jump right to the taken, but we missed the preparation. The provisions in this verse refer to a case of this kind, though the Jews extended to him who had newly consummated his marriage. So we're talking about betrothed is being engaged. It is a contract to marry. All right? And oftentimes when you see something where it says the servant is doing this, or my father took a wife for me, what is he talking about? The father is putting up the money for the negotiation with the girl's father.
And see, in today's generation, some people will go to the father to ask for the woman's hand in marriage, but then that bride price is nothing that happens in today's generation.
No, they crazy enough to tell the man that he's supposed to pay for his daughter's wedding. Now you taking a woman out my house and you think I'm paying for the wedding?
Exactly.
You a new fool.
Exactly.
You a new fool. I need to see the tag on this fool, because this fool new.
Exactly.
This fool new right here.
Exactly.
You gonna take my daughter and I'm paying you?
And
What you think, I got a mud duck in there?
and in this contract or this whole process, you know, the priest or the preacher was not in the midst of what was going on in this contract. I have to say that.
Yeah, because let's go back to the question. The question, what considers you as married? Is it the encounter of intercourse or the whole shebang? Going before a priest. That's part of the question.
That was his first question.
That's why I said, no, let's get into it, because nowhere in there, in this agreement, was there a priest saying the powers vested in me by the city of Bethlehem. I don't remember reading that.
And we go into the New Testament, and you'll find instance after instance of a wedding feast.
Right? To announce the contractual obligation that they have entered into.
Exactly.
Because there's a wedding and there's a wedding feast. Understand, I will never be invited to your wedding.
That is a misunderstanding.
You can invite me to your wedding feast. I will not be at your wedding. That's all kind of ways wrong. So see, it matters here, okay? You know, how we do some things. So when you consider that it starts talking about there's even obligation, if they're talking about war, if there's a man who is engaged to a woman and has not taken her, let him go, return unto his house, lest he die in the battle and another man take her. Because he has already entered into this contract.
Exactly.
He dies, then now there's an issue. He should at least have an opportunity to deal with the contract that he has entered into.
Exactly. Contracts are sealed in blood.
You got it. So then now you got some things happening there. Now let's go to Exodus chapter 22. And I want you to read verse 16.
Exodus 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
All right. There is not a contract of matrimony out there for her. So he has enticed her. What do you mean he enticed her? You know what y'all call it? You know, I spit game. You know what I'm saying? I spit my game. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Keisha came on in. You know what I'm saying? Right. Keep reading.
And lie with her.
Uh-huh.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Uh-huh. This is what they used to call, when my parents were growing up, they call it the shotgun wedding.
And they used to do them.
And there would be a whole wedding going on. And it'd be a daddy in a suit, and there'd be a shotgun. He just leaning on it. What the shotgun wedding? I caught you back there behind the shed with my little girl. You gonna make an honest woman out of her, or there's gonna be some roadkill over here. What you gonna do? That shotgun. Now, watch how the very next line, the dad is in the picture.
Exactly.
Read.
It's his daughter.
Uh-huh.
Verse 17. And if her father utterly refused to give her unto him.
Refuse to give. What do you mean? What do you mean?
You
Refuse to
word.
give. Wait a minute. You done already jumped past the negotiation period. You skipped the negotiation, and you went right in. Wait a minute. The negotiation is not done with the woman alone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, I done started some mess now. What you talking about? My little Keisha love me. That's all we need to do. Oh, wait a minute now. If her father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Hold on. Okay, you done already, did some things. You done went past the negotiation.
You took some liberty.
Exactly. You didn't enter into no contract. You skipped the contract. Now this us. We skipped the contract. We accept the Happy Meal. Mm-hmm. The daddy said, "Oh, I ain't accepting the Happy Meal." See, the final say so in this contract is up to me. I ain't accepting that Happy Meal. And now I ain't finna just give her, and that's what they say. Who gives this woman
to this man?
The book said, "Oh, I ain't giving her away. There's a price. I didn't give her away. We negotiated. I didn't give her away, y'all. They said, who give her away? So we then say, I do. I give her away. He said, no, if you refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. He has enticed a maid. A maid means virgin. See, everybody just like to wear white at their wedding. Everybody should not be at white. When you read, what is that? I think it's Spanish. White is blanco. What that mean? Her slate is blank. All right? What they say, you got notches on the belt. When they are blank, and it's a blank belt, there are no notches on it. It's blanco. All right? It is blank. There's nothing on that. You entice that, you, my friend, you must surely marry her. Oh, this was a forced situation at this point. And now you about to pay. Whereas you have not passed the negotiation situation. Now you got to pay some standard weight of something which may be more than what you got. You better take a loan. You should have thought about that before you went behind the shed. Exactly. That's all you should have thought about that before you went behind the shed. I don't know what to tell you. But somebody finna pay this. Call your daddy. Because you're not leaving here. Well, let me go home and talk to my daddy. Now somebody else gonna go home and talk to your daddy.
And when you think about this, when you think about that, in our lifetime, it's just, people generally want a woman that they can marry, someone that they can settle down with. But, when things happen prior to that, you're dealing with somebody else's daughter, somebody's sister, so, we can't be that way where we want a good woman, but, while we're single and we're sowing oats all over the place, you're damaging somebody's daughter. That woman belongs to someone. Mm-hmm. And that kind of thing. We live in a society where, everybody wants to test the waters before you. Sex is not free, according to this book. There's nothing free about it.
And that's that thing, before you really have any understanding of the word, you think that it makes the most sense that you should, test drive, before you buy. But we have to understand that Yahweh's covenant is not a vehicle. All right? It's not a try before you buy. That's not what this is. And when you operate in the ways of the world, it seems like it makes sense. It's only when you have the understanding of his word and allow him to guide you, then when he's guiding, he's helping to make situations operate for your good, even things that you don't know. You are not aware of how well this fits you. But then again, if you knew that, you'd probably have done something before you negotiated. See, that's why he didn't let you know in the first place.
It's true.
See, you would have done the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's why he didn't let you know. See?
Yahweh knows, and it's like we would have safety if we would go to him and let him navigate the waters for us, but we will not do that, man. We're trying to drive that car.
Yeah. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 22. I tell you, when people ask, questions like this, it's like, you do understand I can't just read one scripture and answer that, right? It's going to take a second. Deuteronomy 22, and I want to start that at verse 13.
Verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasion of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
Now, it's crazy that Yahweh would have to put certain laws to protect people because you have idiots. I have watched idiots produce children who look like, men who look like they birthed the kids themselves. And then we'll stand by, I don't know if them kids is mine. Yahweh had to protect some people from just the idiots that roam around, okay? We're talking stone cold idiots, all right? A man married a woman, but then bring up an evil name against her. Go ahead.
Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate.
Now, that means there's a controlled situation that's happening when you talk about this bride chamber. So understand what was taken away from the father when a man has enticed a maid. There was not a controlled environment whereby there was a bride chamber. Now you give the opportunity for some foulness. Go ahead.
And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he had given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not your daughter a maid. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city.
This is a hard culture right here. This is a hard one right here. So, upon marriage, this part I ain't looking forward to right now. So somebody said, so there's somebody lays a cloth up and they before this, so and then afterwards, the daddy of the woman get the cloth. So you got to do the laundry. I ain't looking forward to this part right here. This that part of the culture you be like, for real, Yahweh? Go ahead.
Verse 18. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him.
So that means the father, he take this laundry, but he can't do this laundry. He got to keep this. That deep right there. Go ahead.
And they shall immerse him.
Immerse
him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel.
All right, whoa. They're going to immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, give them unto the father of the damsel. Who got to pay for that? So if the town give him that money, he got to pay back the town. See, running off the mouth can get expensive. Go ahead.
And give them unto the father of the damsel, because he has brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, Then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of the city shall stone her with
Now,
stones.
it didn't say she was actually guilty. They just couldn't find the tokens. Oh my God. So, maintaining this cloth is imperative that the father maintains this. If he can't find it, do you understand? She's stoned. Go ahead.
And the men of the city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she has wrought folly in Israel to play the whore in her father's house.
Check this out now. Whoa. She's just not a virgin at marriage. They said she played the whore. When you consider that, how many of us can pass this stringent level of testing? You don't think we need Yahshua and a baptism? You mean to tell me one previous encounter makes you a whore? Come on, man. We got man whores, woman whores, dog whores, cat whores. We got some bird whores. We got some birds that ain't even right. Go ahead.
Okay,
wait,
verse 22.
Okay.
And if a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, no. Verse 21. And they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of the city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she has wrought folly in Israel to play the whore in her father's house. So shall you put evil away from among you.
That's what the stoning is for, to put evil away from you. We have a hard time even talking about when something has happened, much less putting the evil away from us. Go ahead.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall you put evil away from Israel.
I tell you, all it take is one of these, and them brothers that be bragging about how they was with a married woman, it won't happen no more. Once the first one die, that's going to take care of that business. Go ahead.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her.
All right, she's betrothed. There's a contract, but she's not married yet. But there is a contract. They are engaged. Go ahead.
Then you shall bring both out unto the gate of that city, and you shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not.
All right, stop. It says, verse 23, and the man find her in the city. Automatically, it is assuming if you are in the city, you should have screamed and somebody would have heard you. If this happened to you, because nowadays anybody can say they was raped. You have people that are victims on both sides. People who have raped, and then people who have claimed that they gotten raped and they were not. This says, if this situation happened in the city, why we ain't hear you? So the fact that it happened in the city, nobody heard you, you're going to die with him. Go ahead.
The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. So you shall put evil away from among you.
Now, consider this now. He has humbled his neighbor's wife, but they have not consummated the marriage. Okay, whoa. So then it says, one, the betrothing, then you have the taken. So there is the negotiation, then there's the taken. But at the negotiation, she's being called his wife. He has not taken her yet. So then when another man goes unto her, he is guilty of adultery, even though the husband has not consummated his contract. Go ahead.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel you shall do nothing, There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, for as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her. He may not put her away all his days.
Now wait a minute. He found her in the field, and the damsel cried, and there was none to save her. If the man find a damsel that is a virgin, but she is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lie with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. He still got to pay the bride price. Mm-hmm. But when you go back to the other situation, if a man lie about the situation, he's got to pay double the bride price. He got to pay 100. Remember the last thing we read? It says they shall immerse him in 100, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. The bride price was 50. He got to pay double because he lied.
Because he lied.
And she shall be his wife, and because he has humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. All right, I don't think people understand the significance of what's happening in verse 29. So I'm going to slow this down for a second. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Because he has humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. Okay, let me go. So let's say she turned just nasty, and she just talk about you. She just say all kind of, guess what? He may not put her away all mm-hmm. his days. I don't think we consider that. When it talks about the divorce, it says if a man find any uncleanness in his wife, then he was able to give her a bill of divorcement and send her out of his house. I need all you slick game spitters. I need you to pay attention right here. Mm-hmm. You may not put her away all your days. Boy, that game real slick now, ain't it?
Because it's the way he got her.
Oh, spit it, slickness. You may not put her away. So you then give her the power to be as nasty as she want to be.
And you have no recourse.
None. Why? Because you, old Captain Slick One, has engaged without taking care of the business at hand. Go ahead, brother. You look like your boys a question all over up in here.
No,
what you got?
It's not a
Go ahead.
Not a whole lot of questions.
Speak into the mic, bro.
It's the same thing for the one that lied too. It said and until you actually touched on that, I overlooked that. I was like, I'm thinking, can't really put her or whatever. But you said it's no divorce or none of that.
No.
It is what it is. I don't care what she do to you.
No.
What's done, bro, you can't put her away.
Exactly. You took away all your options.
Yes.
By being Captain Smooth Draw. See?
Damn.
This is what happened when you Captain Smooth Draw. You took away all your options. Ain't no leaving her.
Damn.
Right. See, it's certain situations that sometimes we just read and we go too fast. Now slow down. See, when we have a court session in a holy kingdom, we're going to be going over it with this book. So you'll be talking about, Your Honor, she did this, oh priest, she did this. And he said, all right, then her daddy going to come. All right, hold on, I want to bring something to your attention. See, back in the days, I found them behind the shed. Wait a minute. Now, here's the declaration. I have the proof of what happened behind the shed. These are witness statements. All right, right here. According to our law, and then he's gonna read this. He may not put her away all his days. And the priest gonna say, do you corroborate this? Yep. Pay the daddy and go home with your wife. See, there's certain things we need to understand about the law, or you're gonna think that you're in a good place and you're standing in a bad place because of some things that you done. Here's the problem. You might have done that 25 years ago. See, it say all his days. Now, what happened 30 years from now? See, we're not thinking about 30 years from now. But what happened 30 years from now? So this is why when we get a question like what constitutes marriage, you got to be ready for all the stuff that comes with that kind of question. You got to go ahead and put your seatbelt on when we go into that, because these ain't things that you're gonna hear at your marriage counseling when you get married at Rehoboth Baptist Church. All right, Rehoboth ain't going over this. You understand what I'm saying, G? I don't care how many marriage counseling sessions you have, they ain't going over this at Rehoboth. Mm-mm. And them people got degrees out the yin-yang. They ain't going over this. It's important that we understand why. Because Yahshua is going to hold us accountable. Shouldn't you know what you're going to be held accountable to? When it comes down to something at your job, you find out what are my duties? Because if somebody comes through and makes an accusation that you didn't do your job, you want to know what duties are expected of you so you can say, oh no, that's not the truth. I did my job. This is my job description. I did my job. Well, for you to be able to operate within this situation, you need to know what is expected of you in this situation. So you can say yay or nay whether you did what you were supposed to do or not. If you don't understand what it says, you can't rightfully say, I've done everything that I was supposed to do. And ignorance of the law is no excuse to break the law. You don't believe me? Go to court and tell them you didn't know the speed limit was 55. He said, I'm so sorry you didn't know. The fine is $275. Now, would you like to pay that in cash, check or charge? How you want to do it? You're going to pay that fine. Mm-hmm. It does not matter that you didn't understand the law.
Man, this first step in this is very, very serious, man.
Uh-huh.
I was taking it lightly, man. Now
we all take it lightly until we get off into this book. It's all about culture. Mm-hmm. It's not about, this thing, and even when, you examine this, we make our own decisions. Our own decisions ain't working for us. Yeah. So obviously we got to go above something. And if there's culture is the glue that holds together when our feelings won't.
And that's the thing. That's the surety of you going and looking for someone who was raised a certain way versus the way she looks.
Right. Or the way he looked. Don't just put it on
she.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't just put that on she. She ain't the one. He ain't the only one that's looking. All right? Uh-huh. Let's keep it 1,000. All right? This go all the way across the board.
It does.
Many people done kissed the frog that he was going to turn into a prince. And all they end up was warts on their lips. All right, that's all we're going to do for today. We're going to leave out with a prayer on that. We are going to rise and face the east. All males remove your head covering. And females always pray with their head covered. Abba Father, Most High Covenant, Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Abba Father, we thank you for giving us yet another opportunity to read out of this great legacy that you have left unto us. We pray, Father, that you would continually open up your word unto us so that we will have better and greater understanding. But we also pray that you would open up our hearts, that we may be able to allow these things to direct our steps, that we may be able to be directed by your holy and righteous law. We acknowledge our sins before you, Abba Father, for we know that we walked against these things, for we were not taught them, And we did not have understanding of those things. We pray that you will forgive us as we back into this culture, as we learn of things that we may have been transgressing in for decades. Please have mercy on us as we attempt to step away from those things. And we may not be able to step away all at once. Please, Abba Father, have mercy on us as we gradually step away from these things. And when we call out for your help, please help us with your tender, loving mercies, that we may be able to walk away from those things that the world has caused us to grab a hold of. We pray, Abba Father, that you would allow us to go back to our homes safely, that we may be able to gather together and do all of this once again. In Yahshua HaMashiach's holy and divine name we pray. Amen and hallelujah.
Amen. Hallelujah.